The Air Force was intensely focused on the nuclear mission, particularly in the 60s. So when you have those huge numbers of weapons out there, you have to have two concerns. Your primary concern is somebody accessing a weapon that intends to do you harm from the outside. But you also have the insider problem.
One of the concerns in use control is being able to deal with an insider threat. And that's a very difficult thing to deal with. And that was to provide protection against unauthorized releasing of an armed weapon. The Air Force believed that they had in place sufficient controls.
They always saw PAL as a complication to the always, an impediment to them doing the job they were hired to do. And in fact, they had great faith in their own command control system.
Regardless of how much you trust your own people and regardless of what kind of personnel reliability programs you have, if you got that many weapons out there and that many people involved, then you have both the malicious insider concern and then you have the careless insider concern.
Many within the defense community questioned whether dependence upon SAC's personnel reliability program and administrative controls were sufficient to prevent an unauthorized release. In 1967, after a high-level DoD review, SAC was directed to equip its bombers with a code-enabling switch.
The code-enabling switch was really designed to prevent unauthorized action by an aircraft crew prior to their landing anywhere.
Because the code-enabling switch was positioned in a location that it would be very difficult for the crew to get to. The plane was in flight.
If you recall what the function of a PAL is to break critical arming and firing lines. Okay? It's buried deep within the system. A bomber-coded switch, or CES, is just another variant of a PAL just located in the aircraft, and it breaks critical power lines to the weapon.
By 1970, bomber-coded switches were being fielded in SAC B-52s, and a new generation of permissive action links was evolving to meet the needs of NATO nuclear policy, as well as a changing threat environment. At a time when the Europeans were again questioning U.S. resolve, the Nixon administration considered ways to strengthen NATO's nuclear options.
My view was that selective nuclear strikes would persuade the Soviet Union that the United States would not be deterred from using nuclear weapons against Soviet territory.
The threat of their use would condition how the Warsaw Pact forces would have to fight conventionally in such a way as to give us a conventional advantage.
NATO's policy of flexible response required the capability of the selective release of nuclear weapons, unlocking a few, but not all. The multiple code capability of a new Category D PAL was an enabler of flexible response.
Cat D PAL was the first implementation for multiple codes for selective release.
They could release a small set of weapons, or they could have the option for release for a theater-wide response.
The evolution of PAL devices followed both an increasing desire to provide operational flexibility and a desire to address vulnerabilities. Now, if you think about denying use to personnel that are not supposed to have access, if they ever get access, it's a little bit different problem.
Use denial was absolutely important when you looked at taking a weapon from a storage location and now putting it onto a delivery platform itself. During the Cold War, the main focus was always on the adversary, and we would run drills on having to launch. We would run drills on being a ground attack.
By the 1970s, U.S. nuclear weapons were a mainstay of European defense. Use control systems, part of the never of nuclear weapons, had evolved to assure against unauthorized release, but also had to address the question of enemy overrun.
And the answer to that was what was called nonviolent disablement. Critical elements of the nuclear weapon are irreversibly damaged,
reconfigured in such a way that the weapon systems would not be functional without a major reconstruction effort.
The function of PAL is to maintain control until custody can be regained.